no matter what, people spending money makes the world go round. It's been that way for thousands of years, which means at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, the power is with the people. I've said on the show many times that if you don't like the government, then become ungovernable. And in a consumer-based economy like the one in which we live in this country, becoming ungovernable means doing things like this. All right, I'm going to earn my money. I'm going to spend less of it, right? And we have fattened ourselves with consumerism in this country. The things that we buy, many of them are not, strictly speaking, necessary. Food, of course, is necessary. Gas is, of course, necessary. You have to go to work. You have to get home. There are some things, I won't pretend that this isn't true. There's some things that are necessary. But a significant amount of things that we spend money on are simply not necessary. And feeding this economy, when this president and this administration gets to take credit for it, we need to realize that that's a choice that we're making. Starving this economy so that this administration and this president gets blamed for it is the power that you still wield. And if collectively we choose to wield that power, then we can teach everyone a lesson, because all of these people think that they want to live in a country that everything else stays the same, except they have less brown people in it. This is kind of what they're on, right? Or that, everything stays the same, but these people have rights that these people don't, or these people have outcomes that these people don't, or this is the natural order of things, whatever it is that their position is. If we disagree with that and we don't have, they're not listening to our voices, they're not listening to our activism, they're not listening to our elected officials, they're just ignoring us. They're literally relegating us to the margins of society. Well, indeed, we have the power of the dollar to disrupt what would otherwise be business as usual for them. Now, there are people who would push back on this and say, well, you know what, even if all the black dollars got pulled into the same pot, what difference does it make to, this administration? Even if all the brown dollars got pulled into the same pot, or whatever, even pick a smaller community. And that's a valid concern. People should be mindful of how much strength is actually being wielded in these protests, these boycotts. But I want to remind you, as a person that has, my master's is in business, right? And that's not to beat my chest or brag. The truth is that I'm just saying that to say this is something I've studied more than most people have, okay? I know that many of the companies that exist on a national level they have a lot of debt to service. This is how they acquire buildings and warehouses and infrastructure and inventory. It's all debt. It's all borrowed, meaning they have to service that debt, meaning that there is a ready assumption that there will be customers in their store spending money. And how these people get so rich is because of the scale of the operation. It's such a huge scale of the operation that if they are only profitable, 10%, a tiny amount, then that's a fantastic year. If they only have 10% growth year after year, they're kicking butt. And once you realize that, you realize, we don't need to pull 100% of the resources away from, let's say, Target. We can just pull our own dollars collectively away from Target, and they will sink because they cannot service their debt. And you know what happens? They file for bankruptcy, and then they get broken down and pieced apart and absorbed into some other organization or end up under some other ownership or direction. And that direction might actually account for your politics because it has to account for your dollars. This is the power that you still have. And so for me, and I'll speak for Q, we don't need to go to Target no more because, again, we understand the fat that we have accumulated under this consumer-based economy and society. We don't need to walk into Target for anything ever again. Ever again. And so we won't. How dare you? How dare you? And you think Walmart's getting a free pass? When Costco exists? You think Amazon's getting a free pass when eBay exists? No, we can vote with our dollars. And if we so choose, we can withhold our dollars entirely, which is the call of this shutdown on the 30th, on Friday the 30th. We can withhold all of our dollars. And then we can let this government know exactly how we feel. When we need to spend, we spend with people whose values are aligned with ours and companies are aligned. And when we don't need to spend, we simply don't. Buy used or whatever, however you get creative, if you need to. But look around. Do you really need another pair of shoes? Do you really need another flat screen? Do you really, whatever it is you're buying, just ask that little question and take your power back. Don't wake up and look at your phone and be depressed every day and not do anything about it when you can. You can. And I just wanted to make sure that I said that. I'm not going to put you in the in the driver's seat just yet, Q, but I will say that I appreciate you letting me say that because I think that it's important for people to kind of know what muscles they can flex. And again, I want to remind everybody that this shutdown is taking place Friday, January 30th, but your personal shutdown and that in your community can last as long as you like. Okay, TikTok turned into the ops. You know what? I really don't want to move on just yet. If you want to say something, I feel like I want to give you some time to reflect too.
Not really a reflection, more of a question.
What's up?
It's a question that I have that maybe listeners will have as well. Single day shutdowns,
Right,
and seem highly ineffective. If you go spend that money the next day, then you didn't really hurt that corporation much.
point,
So what's the idea behind this and how is it something that's sustainable? January 30th, nobody goes to work or school, nobody goes shopping. But if on the 31st or the 1st, we right back at it, then what did we really do?
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. So we'll stay here for just a second longer. You're absolutely right. It's just, I think the idea behind it is just to kind of like rattle everyone to show what strength we have, what we can do. It's sort of like, forgive this expression because I don't want to put any thoughts in anyone's heads, but this is sort of like the protest before the riot sort of thing. And this is a demonstration of the numbers and what we can affect, right? But for me and my house, we're well past a single day demonstration. We're on, like, I'm riding this wave until there's a different president that acknowledges the rest of our humanity and indeed seeks out and welcomes to the middle those who have historically been relegated to the margins of society. And this is why I was saying that this doesn't have to be something that you're participating in a single day. You can run this play as long as you like, and you can get other people to do the same. And so be ungovernable. If you disagree with the government, be ungovernable. And what that means to you, let your heart lead you there. But what it should mean, at minimum, is don't give this government your money. Don't give them credit. Because then all they're going to do is point to the economy. Well, the economy is whatever, if it's doing well, of course, point to the economy and say, look how well the economy is doing. And then most other people don't get it. So they say, well, I guess you got to break a few eggs to get an omelet. The money's moving. So forget all these people that are dying in the streets and how cruel this is and how inhumane and we've lost our humanity. Forget all that. The money's moving. So you have the power to stop the money from moving. It just takes, you're right, a more sustained campaign. All right. Yeah, TikTok turned to the ops. So I'm going to share a bit, to paraphrase a bit. This is from CNN. TikTok's new U.S. business, led by a group of mostly American investors that have been sort of vetted and approved by Donald Trump, is now off to an inauspicious start. TikTok, of course, has been kind of malfunctioning for the past few days, while other social media sites have been filled with like speculation that the Trump-aligned joint venture is suppressing criticism. TikTok fired back saying otherwise. They say the trouble stemmed from a power outage at a data center belonging to Oracle, which is one of the investors in the U.S. entity. And here's a quote: "The challenges U.S. TikTok users may be experiencing are the result of technical issues that followed the power outage, which Oracle and TikTok are working to quickly resolve," unquote, the spokesperson added. Okay. Nonetheless, some Democratic politicians are seizing on the public suspicion about political foul play. Okay. So I'll tell you a personal story. I don't know, it might have been a few days ago, maybe a week ago. We were on our own TikTok. I was on our TikTok page, and I opened it up, and I saw there's a new terms and conditions that popped up, right? And I didn't click that because I just couldn't be bothered to read through all of that. So I just closed the app. And every time, force a habit, you open it up just to see what's going on, how many more followers and likes and all that sort of stuff. Videos are going viral or whatever. And every time I'd see this thing pop up. So I decide, you know what? I'm not going to click this. Let me see what this is about. And I look it up, and sure enough, TikTok can now gather information about your religion, your political beliefs, all kinds of stuff that feels very scary given the way that this new iteration has come together. And
don't forget your whereabouts.
And that, yeah, absolutely.
That's the scariest part.
There it is. Thank you for that. So that a person like me, especially with my big old afro, and, I've been outside with my gang a lot, protesting all over the country with a bullhorn. I've been obviously critical of this administration. I'm critical of parts of every administration. I think all of us should be. We should demand excellence from our politicians. We elect them to do a job and to improve society. And if we disagree, then it's our job to push as citizens for this country to be everything it can be, right? But this administration will punish dissent. We've seen it time and again. So TikTok being a place to gather information on people, and it's in the terms and conditions. That part is, that comes from them, that they can gather information on you and feed it into, let's say, what's the entity at the airport, Q, when you come back in the country?
Well, you have TSA, you have Homeland Security, you have Border Patrol. Which entity do you mean?
Well, any of the above. I remember we covered some stories where people were leaving the country, coming back into the country, and their phones were being seized, and they were being detained because of their politics on their social media profiles and that sort of thing. This was when Trump was first reelected. That was a very scary time.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of stories on that.
Yep. So now, voluntarily giving TikTok any information feels crazy. Even if what TikTok's saying is true. Hey, these were just technical issues we were having because of a plant and a power outage or whatever. The fact that they can also collect that data, and of course they're in cahoots with, I believe Larry Ellison is his name, and obviously the Trump administration, and they're going to pass that information along to whoever requests it in the United States government. It feels crazy, and to have them know that granular level of detail about you is a very scary thing. So for me, I for one am like, I just deleted the app off my phone. I know a lot of really important people. They make money off of TikTok. Sends them money. TikTok sends us money too, but it's it's not going to break the bank. But you know, they have like, that's a huge part of their income, and they're like, nope, I'm not the one or the two. So Q, obviously I want you to, you know, share your thoughts here too.
No, I mean, sometimes there's two voices saying the same thing.
Okay.
A lot of content creators who, it's not a portion of their income. What they do for a living is TikTok.
Yeah, a lot of them too. Yeah.
And they're like, no, I'm good. And thousands have already said, no, I'm good. Tens of thousands have already said, no, I'm good. Some have just deleted the app. And I did not even know that that type of data was known, but that data has been reported and it's accurate. People all over the country and all over the world, but specifically here because things are new and different here, have decided, okay, that's not the place for me. And there are other places to go. Just a heads up. I'm an investor in another place, so I don't say it because I don't know what the rules are behind that. But there are other places where you can go, have your voice be heard, have your content be viewed, and have it monetized. You know, do a little bit of research, you'll be able to find out. But TikTok is not, you're not trapped at TikTok.
There's black-owned ones too. That might help narrow the search if you're looking.
Yeah.
Well then, yeah, man. One of the things, and this is par for the course for us, because when Twitter was acquired by a Nazi named Elon Musk, we bounced to the ounce immediately. I might have had
much more bounce.
Much more bounce. Talk to me, Q. So I had maybe, I don't know, it was tens of thousands of followers that I had accumulated on Twitter. I had to turn my back on them because I will not participate economically or in terms of my timeline or information or data about who I am with a person who...
Getting off Twitter hurt every aspect of life for me. Social, economic. I had a lot of real life connections on there where that was the way that we communicated. That was the way that we stayed connected. Not phone, not email, not text, not Instagram, but Twitter. Some of your favorite people, some of the most famous people you've ever heard of were friends of mine on there for a very long time. And I now have no way to reach them. Like friends of mine, like real friends, people that have sent me stuff for my birthday over the years, like Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was how I talked to Mike. Literally, I'm in the city, hit me back on there, and we would connect. Be that Vegas, California, it didn't matter. Now I have no way to reach my friend. And I bumped into him in public recently, but he's Michael B. Jordan. So it was like Creed time. He was rushed off by security, and we got to embrace and share a moment. But, you know, now I got to hope I'll bump into him somewhere else. So connections like that I lost the tie to, because Rams just hit me like, yo, you see what's going on? I'm like, yep. And
that's it.
You know, sometimes you got to bounce to where the ounce is.
Much more bounce.